chosen ones. This man needs your help right now. God is asking you to help this man. Do not scroll past this moment, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary. I am speaking directly to you because what is happening right now requires your urgent attention for your life and for someone else's life. And if you ignore it, you may miss the blessing I placed over your hand freely. There is a man, he is real, his struggle is real, his pain is real. And the reason this video is in front of you right now is because I have been watching your heart, and I know that you are someone who still feels things. Someone who still responds when another person is hurting. Someone who has not allowed the hardness of this world to completely close off the part of you that cares. That part of you is exactly why you are here. Type amen in the comments and subscribe if you believe God places people in front of you for a reason. This man whose life you are about to be connected to is standing at a moment that most people never fully understand from the outside. He is standing at the kind of crossroads where the weight of everything he has been carrying is starting to become more than he can manage alone. He has not lost his strength, he has not lost his faith, but he has reached the point where one more day without someone stepping forward may cost him more than you can currently imagine. And I brought you here because I trust your heart with this, not because your life is without struggle, not because your own circumstances are perfect or easy. I know they are not. I have seen what you have walked through. I have seen the nights where you questioned whether things would ever shift. I have seen the moments where you pushed forward, even when every part of you wanted to stop. I have seen all of it, and none of it was wasted. Every single thing you have endured has been building something inside you, a depth of understanding that people who have only known comfort simply do not possess. That depth is part of what this man needs right now. He does not need someone with a perfect life. He needs someone who knows what it means to keep standing when the ground beneath them is shaking. That is you. Type 777 if you trust that God connects people for purposes beyond what we can see. Before we go any further, if this message is touching something real inside you, I want to ask you to support this video with a like. That small action does more than you realize. It carries this message further. It places it in front of someone else, who may be the next person called to stand in the gap for someone who cannot stand alone. Your small act matters more than you know. Let me tell you something about this man. Not his name, not the specific details of his situation, because that is not what matters most right now. What matters is that you understand the kind of person he is, so you can understand why your response to this moment carries so much weight. He is the kind of man who has spent most of his life showing up for everyone else. The kind of man who was taught from a young age that strength means being the one others lean on, that asking for help is something to be ashamed of, that carrying your own pain quietly is what a real man does. He believed that, he lived by that for years. And now he is in a place where all of that silence, and all of that carrying, and all of that showing up for others without ever allowing anyone to show up for him, has brought him to a breaking point that the world around him cannot see, because he is still showing up. He is still moving. He is still wearing the face that the world expects from him, but inside, something is fracturing. He has been praying, not the loud, confident kind of prayer that sounds like a declaration, the quiet, desperate kind, the kind that goes up in the middle of the night when everyone else is asleep, the kind where the words barely form because the weight of everything is pressing too hard against his chest, the kind where all he can manage is simply, please, just please. I heard those prayers, and I am answering them through you. Type 111 if you believe that God hears every prayer, even the ones that have no words. This is not a small thing I am asking you to do. I want you to understand that I am not asking you to casually scroll past and drop a comment and move on with your day. I am asking you to genuinely pause and recognize that your presence in this moment is not accidental. You were brought here because something in you is equipped to respond in a way that will matter. You may not feel equipped. That feeling is familiar to me. Nearly every person I have ever called to step forward has had that same feeling, the sense that they are not the right person, that there is someone more qualified, that their own life is too complicated or too uncertain or too incomplete for them to be useful to someone else. But I want to tell you something about how I work. I do not call them fully equipped. I equip the ones who are willing to be called. The difference between those two things is everything. If I only used people who had everything together, nothing would ever get done, because no one has everything together. What I look for is not perfection. What I look for is a heart that is open enough to say yes when it would be easier to say not me. You have that heart. That is why you are still watching. Type yes if you are willing to be used even when you feel unready. I want you to understand something about what this man is going through, not so that you feel sorry for him. He does not need pity. Pity does not lift anything. What he needs is the kind of genuine compassion that moves, the kind that translates into action, the kind that looks at someone's situation and says, I see you, and I am not going to walk away. He has been carrying financial pressure that has been building for longer than he has admitted to anyone. He has been making decisions from a place of scarcity for so long that he has started to believe that scarcity is simply his reality, that there is something fundamentally wrong with him, that other people seem to know something about how life works that he was never told. He has been carrying the weight of relationships that have cost him deeply, friendships that disappeared when things got hard, people who were present in the good seasons but could not be found when the storm came. He has learned in the most painful way that loyalty is rare, and that lesson has made him careful in a way that has slowly become isolated. He has been carrying grief, not necessarily the fresh kind that everyone around you recognizes and accommodates, the old kind, the kind that settles into you quietly and changes how you see everything without announcing itself, the kind that makes you wonder sometimes if joy is something other people experience. But that was not quite meant for you. He has been carrying doubt about his own worth, the kind of doubt that does not come from weakness, but from too many years of giving everything and watching it either go unnoticed or get taken for granted. He has started to wonder if what he brings to the world matters, if the things he has sacrificed were worth it, if the path he has been walking is actually leading somewhere or just going in circles. These are heavy things to carry, and he has been carrying them alone. Type 222 if you know what it feels like to carry something heavy without anyone beside you. The reason I am showing you this is not to overwhelm you. It is to help you understand why your response matters so much. When someone has been carrying this much for this long, sometimes the thing that changes everything is not a dramatic rescue. Sometimes it is simply the experience of not being alone, of someone seeing the weight and not looking away, of a voice that says, I am here. You are not invisible. What you are carrying is real, and it matters, and you do not have to hold it by yourself anymore. That voice can be yours today. It does not require anything extraordinary from you. It does not require resources you do not have, or words you have not figured out yet, or a level of strength that feels out of reach. It requires only what you already possess: willingness, presence, a heart that is open enough to step towards someone instead of past them. That is all. And that is everything. I want to address something that is probably sitting in the back of your mind right now. You are wondering why you, out of everyone who could have been brought to this moment, why you specifically. You do not see yourself as someone particularly special. You do not have a platform or a following or a title that would make you the obvious choice. You are just a person living your life, dealing with your own complicated set of circumstances, trying to figure things out day by day. Why would I choose someone like you for something like this? Let me answer that honestly. I chose you precisely because of who you are, not in spite of it. The very things you see as disqualifying you are actually the things that make you exactly right for this moment. The fact that you know what it feels like to struggle means you will not approach this man with condescension. The fact that you have had your own quiet battles means you will not minimize what he is going through. The fact that you are not operating from a position of having everything means you understand that giving is not about abundance. It is about willingness. I have watched you. I know your story. I know the chapters you would rather not read aloud. I know the parts you have tried to move past. I know the things you are still working through. And I want you to hear me say clearly, that none of those things are disqualifying. They are qualifying. They are the experiences that shaped the compassion and the understanding and the depth that this man needs from whoever steps forward to help him. You are not a mistake. You are not a second choice. You are the person I had in mind for this moment, long before you knew this moment was coming. Type Amen in the comment if you believe that God prepares people for specific purposes before they even understand what those purposes are. There is also something important I want you to understand about what happens to you when you respond to a call like this. Because this is not only about him, this is about both of you. When you choose to step out of your own uncertainty and toward someone else's need, something inside you begins to shift. There is a repositioning that happens. Things that felt stuck begin to move. Clarity begins to rise where there was fog. Strength begins to emerge in places where you had only felt depletion. This is not a coincidence. This is the design. I built it so that the act of giving from an open heart activates something within the giver that cannot be activated any other way. You will gain something from this, not in a transactional way, not as a reward that I am dangling in front of you to incentivize your obedience, but in the organic, genuine way that growth always happens when a person steps outside their comfort zone and into purpose. What you do for this man will also do something for you. Keep that in mind as you continue to listen. I want to address something practical now, because sometimes the thing that stops people from responding to a call like this is that they cannot figure out exactly what responding looks like. They want to help, but they do not know what form that help should take. And when the shape of something is unclear, it is easy to use that uncertainty as a reason to stay still. So let me speak to that directly. The help this man needs is not one-dimensional. It does not have a single shape or require a specific set of resources. What he needs is as varied as the ways one human being can genuinely show up for another. And what you are able to offer is already enough to make a difference, whatever that looks like from where you currently stand. Maybe what you have is words. The right words, spoken or written with genuine intention, have shifted the trajectory of more lives than you could count. A message that says, "I see you, I am thinking about you, you are not forgotten," can reach a person in a place that nothing else can access. Do not underestimate the weight that words carry when they are sent with a sincere heart behind them. Maybe what you have is time, the willingness to be present, to listen without trying to fix everything, to sit with someone in their difficulty instead of immediately trying to make it go away. There is a kind of help that looks like silence and presence and patience. It does not announce itself loudly, but it does something for the person receiving it that cannot be replaced by anything more elaborate. Maybe what you have is a connection, someone you know, something you have access to, a resource or an opportunity or a door that you are positioned to open. Sometimes the help I am asking you to give is simply the willingness to bridge a gap between where someone is and where they need to be. You do not have to be the destination. You just have to be. Maybe what you have is prayer. Do not dismiss this. Prayer is not a passive thing. It is not what you do when you have nothing else to offer. Prayer is an active force. When you bring someone before me with genuine intention, you are setting something in motion that goes beyond what any human effort could accomplish. The prayers you lift on behalf of this man will reach places your hands cannot and move things your words cannot shift. Whatever you have, it is enough. Whatever form your help takes, it is valuable. Do not wait until you have more. Move with what is already in your hands. Type 7777 if you believe that God can use whatever you have, no matter how small it seems. Let us talk honestly about what is happening in your mind right now, because I know that alongside whatever compassion and willingness you are feeling, there is also fear. And I want to name that fear directly, because unnamed fear has a way of making decisions that you never consciously agreed to make. There is the fear that you will not do this right, that you will say the wrong thing or show up in the wrong way or somehow make things worse instead of better. This fear sounds reasonable. It sounds like wisdom. It tells you that hesitation is actually caution, and that caution is responsible. But I want you to hear me clearly on this. Imperfect action taken with a sincere heart does far less damage than no action at all. You do not need to get this perfect. You need to show up. I will handle the details. There is the fear that this is not really your place, that someone closer to him, someone who knows him better or understands his situation more fully, should be the one stepping forward. That inserting yourself where you were not explicitly invited is presumptuous or overstepping. But I am the one who placed you here. I am the one who drew your attention to this moment. That is your invitation. I issued it. You do not need another one. There is the fear of what happens if you give and it does not seem to make a difference, of extending yourself and not seeing any visible result, of pouring something out and feeling like it disappeared into nothing. This fear is rooted in a misunderstanding of how I work. I do not measure impact the way you do. I do not require visible, immediate confirmation for something to be deeply and genuinely significant. What you do in faith is never wasted. Even when you cannot trace the outcome is there. And there is the deepest fear, the one underneath all the others. The fear that you yourself are not okay enough to help someone else. That your own life has too many unresolved things for you to be a source of anything for another person. That you are too broken to be useful. This is the fear I most want to speak to. You do not have to be whole to bring healing. You do not have to be at peace to bring comfort. You do not have to have arrived somewhere in order to help someone else take a step. Some of the most powerful help that one person can give another comes precisely from the places where they are still figuring things out. Because that realness, that honesty, that willingness to show up without pretending you have it all together, that is what reaches people. That is what makes someone feel less alone. Your brokenness is not a barrier. In the right hands it becomes a bridge. Type 555. If you are willing to show up even in the middle of your own journey. I want to paint a picture for you of what unfolds when you choose to respond to this moment. Not in a distant, hypothetical way, in a real, present, tangible way. Because I want you to understand that the decision you make right now is not small. It has consequences that extend further than the immediate moment. It touches things that are not yet visible from where you currently stand. When you say yes, something in the atmosphere around this man shifts. Even before he feels it, even before the practical help reaches him, there is a shift. It is the shift that happens when someone who has been unseen becomes seen, when someone who has been unheard becomes heard, when someone whose prayers have been rising into what has felt like empty air, suddenly has those prayers answered through a human heart that was willing enough to be the response. He will feel something change. He may not immediately know why. He may not be able to point to the moment or identify it as significant. But deep in the part of him that has been waiting, something will register. Something will say, I am not alone in this. And that realization, simple as it sounds, has the power to completely transform the way he faces what comes next. When you say yes, something in you shifts as well. There is a settling that happens when a person moves into alignment with their purpose. Not the dramatic fireworks kind of feeling that movies associate with purpose. The quiet kind. The kind that feels like something slipping into place that had been slightly off for a long time. Like a door swinging open that you had not realized was closed. You will notice it in small ways at first, a clarity that was not there before. A lightness that replaces something heavy you had grown so accustomed to carrying that you stopped noticing its weight. A sense of being exactly where you are supposed to be, doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, even though nothing about your external circumstances has necessarily changed. This is what alignment feels like. This is what purpose feels like, when you stop avoiding it and start walking into it. Type 666 if you are ready to step into alignment today. And then there is the ripple. Because your yes does not stop with you and this man. It moves outward in ways that neither of you will ever fully trace. The shift in his life will touch the people in his life. The strength he gains from not being alone will be passed to someone else who needs it from him. Showing up is actually the first stone dropping into water, and the ripples go and go and go. Do not underestimate what sets your eyes in motion. I want to pause here and speak to something directly. There are voices that will try to reach you even in this moment. Voices that are not interested in your growth or your purpose or the man who needs your help. Voices that benefit from your distraction. Voices that would rather you close this video and go back to something familiar and comfortable and small. Some of those voices come from outside you, other people's opinions about what you should be focused on. The noise of a world that constantly competes for your attention and rarely offers anything meaningful in return. The endless scroll of content designed not to build you up, but to keep you occupied just enough that you never actually move. Some of those voices come from inside you, old narratives, old wounds, old conclusions you drew about yourself during seasons that were hard and that you carry now even though those seasons are over. The voice that says you are not enough. The voice that says your efforts do not matter. The voice that says someone else should do this. The voice that says now is not the right time. I want you to recognize those voices for what they are. Not wisdom, not discernment. Opposition. The kind that shows up precisely when you are on the edge of something significant, because it knows that if you move forward, things will change, and it would rather things stay exactly as they are. Do not give those voices authority over this moment. You have something those voices cannot access. You have a heart that is oriented towards something real. That orientation is not accidental. I put it there, and the pull you feel toward this man, toward this moment, toward responding instead of scrolling past. That pull is stronger than any voice that is trying to talk you out of it. Trust the pull. Type 777 if you choose to trust what God is saying over what fear is saying. I want to speak to you about giving, because what I am asking you to do today is a form of giving, and I know that word can carry weight, especially if you have given before and felt like you did not receive in return, especially if generosity has cost you in the past in ways that still sting. I want to reframe what giving means, because the world has taught you a very limited version of it. The world teaches you that giving is about transfer. Something moves from your hand to someone else's, resources, time, money, energy, and once it has moved, you have less and they have more. That framing makes giving feel like loss, like depletion, like something to be calculated carefully and done sparingly. But that is not the kind of giving I am talking about. The giving I am asking you to practice is a different thing entirely. It is giving that flows not from what you have stored up, but from who you are becoming. It is giving that does not deplete you, because it is not drawn from a finite reservoir. It is given from a place of connection, of alignment, of allowing yourself to be the channel through which something greater than you moves. When you give from this place, you do not lose anything. You make room, you create space within yourself for something new to enter. You demonstrate trust that what you release will be replenished in ways you cannot always predict or control. This is not a prosperity gospel. I am not promising you a financial return on your generosity. I am not telling you that giving will make you rich, or that blessings will rain down on you in ways that look like material gain. What I am telling you is that giving from a genuine, open heart changes you from the inside. It shifts something in your character. It builds something in your spirit that cannot be built any other way. The man you are helping today is also giving you something by allowing you to be part of his story. He is giving you the opportunity to become someone who does not look away, someone who steps forward when it would be easier to keep going, someone who chooses another person's needs over their own comfort. That is not a small thing to become. That is something worth becoming. Type 888 if you are ready to become the kind of person who does not look away. There is something I need you to understand about how breakthroughs work, because what is about to happen in this man's life is a breakthrough, not a small adjustment, not a minor improvement, a genuine turning point that will alter the direction of everything that comes after it. But breakthroughs do not happen in isolation. They require condition. They require the right elements to come together at the right time. And one of those elements, in this case, is you. He is close, closer than he knows. There are things that have been quietly shifting in the background of his situation that have been moving toward this moment. Pieces coming together that he cannot see yet. Doors that are almost open. The energy that is needed to push through the final resistance is exactly what your involvement provides. Think about what it means to be close to a breakthrough and not know it. To be working and praying and holding on and wondering if anything is ever going to change, while just ahead of you, things are actually shifting, while the very things you have been praying for are beginning to form. Not being able to see that, carrying the weight of uncertainty without the encouragement of knowing you are almost there, that is one of the hardest positions a person can be in. Your presence in this moment is not just help, it is confirmation. It is the evidence he needs that his prayers are being heard, that what he has been holding on to through all the difficult seasons is not foolish, that the breakthrough he has been believing for is real, and it is close, and it is worth continuing to reach toward. You are part of his confirmation. Do you understand the weight of that? You are being used to communicate something to him through your willingness to show up. You are being used to say what his situation cannot yet say for itself, that he is not forgotten, that what he has been believing for is real, that the turning point is here. Type 999 if you are willing to be part of someone else's breakthrough. I want to come back to something I mentioned earlier and go deeper with it, because I think it is important that you understand the full picture of what is happening right now, not just for him. For you, your life is also at a turning point. You may not have framed it that way. It may not feel dramatic enough to be called a turning point, but something has been building in you, a restlessness, a sense that the season you are in is coming to some kind of close, a quiet awareness that something new is trying to emerge, but has not yet found the opening it needs. This moment is connected to that, not coincidentally, intentionally. The step you take toward this man is also a step in your own story. It is a step away from the version of yourself that held back out of fear and uncertainty. A step toward the version of yourself that moves with trust and intention. A step into the identity that has been waiting for you to inhabit it. Every time you respond to a call like this, you become more fully who you were created to be. You shed a layer of the smallness that fear tries to keep you wrapped in. You step into more of the fullness that has always been available to you, but that requires this kind of obedient action to access. The doors that are going to open in your life in the coming season are connected to the decisions you make right now, not in a mechanical, cause and effect way, in the deeper way that character and alignment always attract the things they are ready for. The version of you that says yes to this moment is the version of you that is ready for what comes next. The version that scrolls past is not. Type 1010 to step into the next season of your purpose. I also want you to know that I see your weariness. I know that some of you who are watching this are tired, not the surface kind of tired that a good night of sleep fixes, the deeper kind, the tired that comes from seasons of carrying too much, the tired that comes from hoping for things that seemed slow to arrive, the tired that comes from giving and showing up and not always feeling like it made the difference you intended. I see that, and I want to say something directly to the tired part of you. What you have endured has not been pointless. It has been preparation. The weight you have carried has been developing in you a strength that lighter seasons could not have produced. The delay you have experienced has been positioning you, not abandoning you. The unanswered questions have been building in you a capacity for trust that ease never could have built. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be at exactly the right time, being invited into exactly the right next step. Take it. Type forward if you are ready to stop looking back and start stepping ahead. I want to be practical with you for a moment, because the emotional and spiritual weight of everything we have covered needs to land somewhere real. It needs to translate into action, and I want to help you take that action without overthinking it. Here is what I am asking you to do right now. First, take a breath, a real one. Let what you have heard settle into you. Do not rush past this moment to get to the next thing. Sit in it for a few seconds. Let the pull you are feeling clarify into intention. Second, make a decision. Not to figure everything out, not to map the entire journey. Just decide that you are going to respond. That you are not going to be someone who watched this video and felt something and then did nothing. Decide that this moment is going to be different from all the moments where you meant to act and did not. Third, take one step. Whatever that step looks like from where you are standing. Leave a comment, share this video so it reaches more people who might be called to be part of this story. Pray for this man right now, genuinely, with whatever words come. Reach out to someone in your own life who might be carrying something heavy and who might need to hear from you today. Whatever one step looks like for you, take it. You do not need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the step that is in front of you. That is all faith ever requires. That is all I am ever asking. The next step. Type step if you are committing to taking one step of action today, and then watch what happens. Not with expectations that are so specific they leave no room for me to work, but with eyes that are open to what begins to shift. Watch for the clarity that starts to come. Watch for the doors that begin to move. Watch for the peace that starts to settle in places that have been unsettled for a long time. Watch for the confirmation that comes in quiet ways that remind you that you are not alone in this, that you are not walking blindly, that what you did in faith is producing something real, even in the places you cannot see. It will happen, maybe not in the exact way you expected, probably better than you imagined. That is consistently how I work when someone trusts me enough to move without having all the answers first. I want to close by saying something to you directly, not to the crowd, not to everyone watching. To you, I know you. I know the version of yourself that you show the world and the version you keep private. I know the things that have made you who you are, the beautiful things and the painful things, and everything in between. I know what you have survived and what you are still carrying and what you are still hoping for. And I want you to know that none of that is accidental. Your life has not been a random collection of events. It has been a carefully guided story. One that has been building toward something. One that has been preparing you for moments exactly like this one. Moments where you are called to step outside the comfortable and into the meaningful. Moments where what you choose to do reveals something about who you are becoming. This is one of those moments, and the fact that you are still here, still watching, still feeling the pull of these words, tells me everything I need to know about the kind of person you are. You are someone who responds. You are someone who does not walk away when something real is in front of them. You are someone who, when given the chance to matter to another human being, takes it. That is who you are. That is who I made you to be. And this man, standing at his turning point, waiting without knowing he is waiting, praying without knowing the answer, is almost here, needs you to be exactly that person today. Do not let him down. Do not let yourself down. Take the step. Type Amen if you are going to be someone's answered prayer today. This moment is not the end of something. It is the beginning of a way of living that is guided by trust rather than fear, a way of living that says yes to the calls that matter, a way of living that leaves something real in every room it passes through. You were not brought here to watch and leave unchanged. You were brought here to become something more, and this man, this moment, this choice you are making right now is part of how that becomes. Go forward with your whole heart. I am with you in every step. Type 777 one final time if you trust that God is not finished with your story. The version of you that says yes to this moment is the version of you that is ready for what comes next. The version that scrolls past is not, type 1010, to step into the next season of your purpose. I also want you to know that I see your weariness. I know that some of you who are watching this are tired, not the surface kind of tired that a good night of sleep fixes, the deeper kind, the tired that comes from seasons of carrying too much, the tired that comes from hoping for things that seemed slow to arrive, the tired that comes from giving and showing up and not always feeling like it made the difference you intended. I see that, and I want to say something directly to the tired part of you. What you have endured has not been pointless. It has been preparation